Bedlam. Absolute Bedlam. Absolute Bedlam podcast. Who? What? Where? Why?
Hello, and welcome to Absolute Bedlam podcast. As always, it's your host Ben, and I am honoured to have Kevin the Tech Ninja on the podcast. How is it going, Kevin?
That's a very nice introduction. I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. I mean, even though the weather is absolutely horrible where I live at in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
Here in the States, it's 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Is what we're rocking with right now. We have about 7 inches of snow outside. So hey, it's Michigan, it's the winter, and that's kind of what to expect. But other than that, man, I can't complain. I'm staying healthy and happy. So
awesome. What's the weather like in the UK? 10 degrees, cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
No sign of snow in Weymouth at all. If we get snow here, everyone goes mental. Like, what is this white stuff falling from the sky? And it usually lasts like 2 hours. And if it lasts more than 2 hours, we've got a problem on our hands because all of the roads stop and everyone just completely loses their minds. So it's quite a different world here in the UK. So,
it just depends on where you're at in the US. I mean, there's some places that if it snows, like even 3 or 4 hours from where I am, if it snows, the whole city shuts down. It's a big deal. People get stuck on the freeways and things like that. So up here, they put salt on the roads so the snow melts and things like that. So we pretty much pre-salt the roads before snow comes and sort of used to it. So it's just one of those things that you kind of get accustomed to living here. Unfortunately, I don't like the weather at all in the snow. So
I get you. We get gritting lorries come by our house and sort of on the main roads, and they literally launch like small rocks on the ground and they flick up on the road and like hit your windscreen, but they never like damage your windscreen. But it's like, Jesus Christ, what the hell? But yeah, it's good fun here. So if we can just quickly introduce you, I don't really know where to start with you because you've done quite a lot and you've been in the game for a very, very long time.
I have,
How would you introduce yourself, if possible?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a guy that makes technology videos on the internet, and I try to explain things in a way that every single person can understand. I don't try to get too nitty gritty in the details of like the specifications, but I try to have a conversation to talk about technology in a way that humans speak to each other, not the way a person speaks to a machine or a machine speaks to a person, just humans having a conversation about a tech product. And that's kind of my goal when making video.
Yeah, I can tell that you're quite soft-spoken about your opinions, but at the same time, from what I've seen from your content, you don't pull punches. You actually say what you think, and you also go back to the devices and you say, I've lived with this product for a month, for 3 months, and you actually give a real-life version of that review rather than, oh my God, it's the newest thing on the market, it's amazing, it will change your life.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, early on in my, I guess you could say career, early on in my career, I did those things where I'll get a product and try to make the review, be the first to get it done. And I mean, that does help the numbers initially, but I do think that now kind of a mature audience sort of wants to see how things go, because a lot of times you buy anything, not even just a phone, you buy a new product and there's always an update that comes out that fixes the initial bugs, right? I like to wait till after that update comes out, because if I make a review and you watch it and it's a month old and then you get your product and it's behaving differently, it's like, well, the review said this. So I do my best to wait a month. Sometimes I wait 2 months. It really just depends on kind of where, kind of what we're looking at with the product. But typically I wait 30 days. And then sometimes I may do like a 3 month later review if more updates came out, if the device has changed, or if I'm hearing things about it. I will then pick it back up and reuse it and kind of see where we're at. And if things are dramatically different, then I'll do like an updated video. So I try to have like a complete life cycle of the product while it's still a product, because not everyone buys something the first day. Some people wait. Some people wait 6-7 months to buy a product.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not an early adopter, really. I tend to go on what other people sort of use around them. and I am a bit of a cheapskate, to be honest, with technology. Like, I've got a OnePlus Nord to the right of me right now, and it's the bottom line OnePlus sort of thing, but it's fantastic. It's everything I need. I don't need the top end, you know, I don't even know what series they're on anymore. I think it's like OnePlus 11 or just something, you know. I had the 6, and the charging port died, and that was the only reason I got rid of the 6. So yeah, that's life, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just depends on use case. I mean, phones are so
Yes.
good these days
They are,
that
yeah,
there's not a reason to upgrade every single year.
definitely.
It depends on your usage, and I know plenty of people that can use, you know, a OnePlus 8 or OnePlus 7 for many years because
Yeah.
it does what I need it to do. And typically, hardware failure is the reason they switch to something else because these
Yeah.
phones are not really repairable. So
Yeah, definitely. It's all sort of in one now, isn't it? It's all kind of a single assembly board and stuff like that.
yeah, they don't make it repairable for a number of reasons. Number one, it keeps the phone real thin, and people like to have the thin phones and things like that. So it's not really modular. And
Yeah.
of course, it incentivizes you to buy a new phone. So
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if you know about this, but in 2 years, we've not really been able to go out much. We've had something going around, COVID. I don't know if you're aware of it in the US.
yeah, I'm very aware of it. It's been like I know you guys go more aggressive on lockdowns, and
Yeah.
with the US, it's state to state that does their own
Yeah.
lockdown. So it's not like a countrywide lockdown. So I mean, in Michigan, we had a lockdown 2 years ago, like early COVID had a lockdown, and then things kind of started to loosen it up and things like that. And then you see like the numbers go up and numbers go down. And I think once the vaccine came out, people like got very comfortable with it, and you know, including myself. I wasn't around large crowds. Like, still, I'm weary around large crowds.
I agree.
But like seeing family members that were vaccinated, fine, doing things I was fine with it. But I still did wear a mask a lot of places that I went.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the whole new variant came out, and I didn't travel. I was supposed to go to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I didn't go, and like a lot of people didn't go because of that. So it's just one of those things that we're just sort of waiting it out again and kind of seeing what happens, I guess.
How have you managed that? Has it affected your mental health, or has it allowed you to get more work done? Because I assume you do quite a lot of your work from home other than conventions.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my day to day hasn't changed a ton, I would say, just because we don't have like a nationwide lockdown like we did earlier. So like if the weather was better, I could still go out and play golf. I love to play golf, right? So like if I was able to go out and want to play golf, I can go play golf. If I want to practice somewhere, I can still go there, wear a mask, you know, socially distance and things like that. So my mental health is fine. And I'm really just a homebody. Like, I love to spend time with my family, and all of my work I do here at the house. So I wouldn't say my life was impacted a lot, like once things open back up, but when things go to a shutdown, then just knowing that I can't go anywhere, or knowing that anything I want to do, I can't do, just kind of makes it hard for me. But I mean, I will say I'm fortunate though, because my job is an online job. I didn't lose my job or anything like that. And many people lost their jobs, or going to work was one of those things that put themselves at risk. So I'm thankful that I'm not in that situation. So I try to keep positive about it, and just say good, you know, try not to get down on it too much, because a lot of people have it so much worse.
Yeah. I think people don't know they have an option until that option gets decided for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, well, I can't go outside now. So, you know, it's a tricky situation. There's no straight, easy answer to it. Not that I know of anyway. And this is why we're still in this mess. But yeah, I don't want to talk about COVID too much, because it's a very negative subject, and I'm not talking about anti-vaxxers, because I'm refusing at this point to cancel myself. I'll wait a couple of years. I'm only a year in, so let's not get into that. So I've got some fan questions coming up, but first things first, I just wanted to talk about your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You have been grinding on YouTube for a significant period of time, and I wanted to know what made you first press publish on your first video. What was your intention?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, when I started my YouTube channel, to me, it was literally just like free video storage.
Yeah.
So I essentially I love computers. Like computer, I built my first computer at 15. So I've always like loved computers. So my first couple of videos, if you ever look and just sort by old videos,
Yeah.
it was like my computer build playing a certain game and seeing how good it will run. And then I'll put that video up there and then I'll go to message boards and like drop the link and they're like, hey guys, this is how my computer I built. This is how it's running this game.
Yeah.
This is how this game looks. And then I got into like the modding community for NBA 2K video games where people would modify all the graphics. And then I'll record myself playing the game and post it on YouTube to go to the forum. So I did that for maybe a year or a couple years before I actually
Yeah.
made a YouTube video. And my first YouTube video, I was comparing two cases for the Moto Zoom tablet. And I bought two different cases and I just compared the two. And I just posted that video
Yeah.
on YouTube and then I put it on a message board and say, hey, this is my comparison. And I've always loved video. Like video was something I've always done. Like in high school, I took a video editing class and that was when it was actually on tapes. So I learned how to edit video with tapes and things like that. So
Yeah.
I've always loved video. And that was kind of the first time I put my love for tech and video in like a big sandwich, if you will, and put it online.
But yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at your channel now. I'm looking at the oldest video, and it's actually basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just free upload storage. I
Yeah.
uploaded a game that I played at when my friends came and recorded, and I uploaded some stuff. And then some of the video I use because in the NBA 2K video game, you're able to customize your own shot. So
Right.
I
Okay.
uploaded my shooting form online
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
ask people what settings should I use to make my character have my shooting form. So that was like a little like a little basketball league I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
after college.
I can always tell quite a lot about someone on YouTube by their first video, because I think their first video really sort of polarizes people and makes them sort of, I think YouTube's quite a slow burn. I don't know if you agree. And I think a lot of people see an exponential viral growth on, people like PewDiePie, who every time he pressed refresh, he got 1 million subscribers. It was mental at one point. But I think, like, especially with my podcast, it's a very, very slow burn. But I don't find myself refreshing the views because I'll make myself go crazy. But yeah, it's good to see that you've been really genuinely grinding at this and slowly sort of reaching the top. When do you think you'll be finally when do you think you've completed YouTube, if that makes sense? What's your end?
Yeah. I mean, there are 7 billion people in the world, I guess, until when I get 7 billion subscribers. I mean, it's just one of those things that it's forever evolving. And even me, I'm always
Yeah.
trying new things, experimenting different methods. And I mean, I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I consider myself a content creator because
Yeah.
there's all these different platforms that I have to be on too, which is definitely hard. And it's an adjustment period for me because like this year coming up, I'm really making a conscious effort to take my social platforms as seriously as I do with YouTube.
Yeah.
Where am I
Yeah.
going to find time? I don't know. But knowing the facts that there was more people going to TikTok than there were going to Google,
Yeah.
not YouTube, but Google in general.
Crazy.
Scary. And I have to get my TikTok numbers up. And people are like, TikTok's for kids. And I'm like, but you have to understand, you have to be places that people are looking.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that it's a constant cat and mouse game. It's a constant way of doing something and seeing how it reacts and things like that. So it's difficult.
Yeah, of course.
It definitely does keep me up at night sometimes, like really thinking about that, thinking that like in 2 years or in 3 years, YouTube may not have that same pull as it does today. And what am I doing to set myself up for success in those years?
Yeah. A second or third revenue stream is never a bad idea, is it? Because I've seen YouTube go down in the past, and it's quite a rare occurrence. But recently, Facebook went down for a couple of hours, didn't it? And everyone lost their minds. So you've got to have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel, a TikTok channel, so on and so forth. And obviously, If you're doing brand deals, which we can get onto in a bit, you know, you've got to do an Instagram story. You've got to do a bespoke video for them. You know, you've got to try and promote it as much as naturally and physically possible.
Yeah.
What would you give as advice to people that are looking to start YouTube, specifically in the tech space?
Yeah, I mean, you know, anyone's going to tell you that the tech space is saturated, right? So,
Yeah.
so many people are doing it because when I started off, the entry point to make tech videos was much higher. It was harder, but now cameras are cheaper. You can use your cell phone to shoot. You can edit on your phone. I mean, there's so many ways to do it, which I actually love. I love that more people have the opportunity. We get more voices. With that being said, you need to figure out, how are you going to be different? How are you going to be unique? Why would I watch your video versus watching someone else's video?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you shouldn't strive to be the next, you know, Marquez Brownlee. You should strive to be the best version of you that you are. And, you know, let your voice be heard. I know it sounds sort of cliche, but it is true. Because, like, if you're trying to be someone else, why would I watch your video? I'll watch that person's video.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It is definitely hard to get into tech, but if that's your passion, you should definitely be yourself and go for your passion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's all about making your own path. There's a lot of voices on the internet, and it's very easy to get muddled up in that, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Make your own way and all that sort of stuff. You wanted to talk about the Samsung, was it the S21?
Yeah, it was the S21 FE. So you know, not boring people with it, but Samsung releases like a budget version of their phone from the previous year. So the Samsung S21 came out last year, and the FE is coming out this year. So the same version, FE, is coming out this year. And it's just, I guess we're sort of seeing a shift in the manufacturers, how they're always, not always, but now they're starting to provide a cheaper alternative because the phone prices, as you know, have gone up tremendously over the years. So now they have more of a budget offering for it. And typically the budget phone just gives you a better camera. It just gives you a good camera and kind of older processor in a less premium build and sort of saying, hey, this is our new offering. Yeah. And I guess what's difficult for someone like me who reviews these phones is that I'll review something and then there's so many other phones that do the same thing for a cheaper price. So it's one of those things. It's like, are you willing to pay a little more because of the name of Samsung? Or are you willing to pay a little less to get the same phone, but it will say Google or it'll say Huawei or say a different name? That's kind of my thing.
Got ya. So just on the back of that question, I do like to try and integrate questions rather than just randomly firing them off and hoping that they all amalgamate. What, in your opinion, is the most important part of a phone, tablet, laptop? Because a lot of people like the all-rounder, don't they?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I guess for me personally, I would say for me would be battery life. That is a thing that I struggle with the most. I know there's battery banks and chargers and all those. I get it, but a lot of times when I'm up and running and moving around, I don't have those things with me at all times. Yeah, I agree. So I would sacrifice a great camera for a good camera with better battery life. I'll sacrifice those things because it's just, when I get to like 25%, 30%, I really start to panic a little bit. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I do so much on my phone, and that's the way I communicate with my family and all my emails and things like that. That really keeps me connected to what's going on, especially if I'm not home. So I'll take battery life over anything at this point.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. I find myself, I've stopped recently, but I found myself getting quite panicky at about 41% battery, which is way, you know, like, it's just, why are you panicking about something like that, Ben? You know, but the OnePlus comes with warp charging, and it's so fast. Have you dealt with OnePlus yourself? Because I am a fanatic of OnePlus. I love them.
Yeah, of course. I've been a big fan of OnePlus since the original flagship killer, the OnePlus One, and the back had the sandstone back where, you know, I've been a huge fan of OnePlus for a while, and I like what they're doing. I'll be interested to see the OnePlus 10. They just announced information on it. OnePlus 9 sort of took a, I wouldn't say a bad turn. It didn't push OnePlus 4 like every year they build on the previous year. and the OnePlus 9 really didn't build on the 8 at all. And it had like some just really bad bugs they could never solve. So we're looking OnePlus, do a little redemption on the OnePlus 10, and they waited a little bit longer to push out the 10. The 10 is actually around 6 months later than what was expected. So I'm hoping that means they really fully tested it, waited for some things to happen, made some changes and all those things. So I'm excited to see the OnePlus 10, kind of what all it has and how it works out.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Cool. I remember the OnePlus One was like a rumor, and you had to get a code to apply to get one, and it was like a really exclusive, like, I've got a OnePlus, sort of like real weird time to be alive. But yeah, they did a very good job, and I love OnePlus. And if there's any jobs going at OnePlus, then drop me a message. So I've asked you the questions about mobile phones, what the end game is for your YouTube channel and all that sort of stuff. So how do you get the technology that you review? Do people send you free phones, tablets, Roombas, laptops? And I'm assuming a lot of that is tied into brand deals. And that question was asked by my friend on Twitch called Ed the Penguin. And no, that's not a made up username.
Okay, all right, Ed the Penguin. So I guess we should reframe the question a little bit, because I wouldn't suggest that it's free. Because it is an exchange for video. And we're making a video, doing a review, and all those things takes a lot of time to do. So I wouldn't call it free per se. And also, they are considered loaners. Now, do they ask for them back all the time? No, but it's not like I can do a video on the new Samsung phone and then put it on eBay the next day and sell it. That's nothing I can do, because it is a loaner, and at any time they could ask for the product back. Some companies ask for their products back more often than other companies. So, I do have a collection of phones that were sent to me for sure. But at the same time, they're not technically my phone. At any time they could ask for these phones back. And if I don't have them, they're going to charge me for the phone. And it's just one of those things that, as you work on video, as you grow, companies start to notice you and they want to reach out. Hey, do you want to review this product? Do you want to check this product out? And it's just sort of momentum. Like once one company does it, then the next one does. It's sort of, a snowball effect. Now, originally, for me to get product, I had to buy product. I had to buy phones. I had to upgrade my phone, and it was very costly. And then here in the States, we have T-Mobile. With T-Mobile, they had a program called Jump on Demand, and that means you pay per month for a phone, and at any time you can upgrade to the next phone 4 times a year. So I was doing that whenever the new phone would come out, and I had 2 lines of service, so I could get up to 8 phones in a year. That's how I was doing it. I had 2 lines of service, and I was swapping out phones every time a new phone came out. So I was able to review all the latest phones, and I did that for about a year. And you make a video for LG phone, and LG looks at those things. When they're making phones, they'll see that and say, "Wow, this guy made a great video on our product. Let's reach out to him and send him a phone next time around." That's just sort of how it works.
No, that makes complete sense. Thank you for that. What's the best technological advancement been in the last decade with phones, tablets, laptops? And that was asked by my good friend and a friend of the podcast, Sam Welch.
Sam Welch. That is a I wouldn't say it's a lot. That's hard because the last 10 years. I would say data speeds in general has changed in the last 10 years. I remember having my sidekick phone, and maybe that's a little longer than 10 years. I don't know. But I remember having like a Windows mobile phone, right? Yeah. And I remember just loading a web page. I would load the web page, and I could put my phone down, get a drink of water, and come back, and the page will finally start to load. Yeah. Versus now with 5G connection or even 4G connection, I mean, web pages pop up in a couple of seconds. And I remember downloading music then, and a song would take a half hour. Now you click play on a button, and it'll start playing instantly. So I think data speeds for me has been a really big one that allows me to be able to work without being on a home connection, a Wi-Fi connection. I can work directly from my phone off my normal connection.
Yeah, it's crazy what phones do nowadays. I find just that data speed thing. It's just you're not waiting for things to download. I used to use LimeWire. I probably downloaded a ton of viruses and stuff like that. And, you would go onto like Pirate Bay and stuff like that. And you would have to wait all night if you wanted an album from an artist. And you would get seeds and hosts and all that sort of stuff. And it drag your download time really into the mud, wouldn't it? But yeah, great. Thank you for that. That's a great answer. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on the emerging metaverse? Are we near civilization's end? And that is by Brian E. Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I have a quest too. I mean, I don't think we're near the end of civilization. Okay. I think we're ways away from people putting these things on and sitting on their couch and living in this world.
Yeah, man.
I don't think we're that close as people make it seem, because wearing these things, number one, they're not comfortable. Like after wearing it for about an hour or so, it isn't a comfortable experience.
Yeah.
Some people get motion sickness. I know I do. I play certain games that have this floaty effect, and it can definitely give you some motion sickness. So I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. Like I've gone into the VR, the Horizon world, where you're able to just walk around and people have houses and stuff like that. But there's no utility beyond that. Like there's nothing else. You're going there and talking to people. And it's fun. It's just a more interactive AOL chat room.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, could it happen in my lifetime?
Yeah,
maybe, but I don't personally see that truly happening fully, like taking over our normal world, like Ready Player One or something like that.
Yeah. I heard something crazy the other day on the Joe Rogan Experience, and apparently Tim Dillon reported to Joe Rogan someone paid $425,000 to be Snoop Dogg's metaverse neighbor.
Yes.
Now that is insane.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we go down the whole path of NFTs and digital land and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is a market, if people pay for it, go for it. But I just don't want to be the last person to hold on to it, because eventually it's going to stop. I mean, that's what happens with, the NBA. They have a system called Top Shot, where it's basically digital credit cards, digital playing cards, like digital cards that are like, they're called moments. So like, Michael Jordan shooting a shot or whatever. And then you'd have to enter to win. And then they only have so many of them. You own this moment, and then someone wants to buy it off you. But there was this amazing spike with people buying so much stuff. But now if you look at it, people aren't getting their money back. Like, who was the last person to buy it? They're stuck with it and paying this absorbent price for it. And at any time they can make more of it. So it's not a scarce product. It's not a scarce thing. And that's the thing that worries me. So I haven't put any money into the digital assets or anything like that. I do crypto and things like that, but I haven't bought anything digitally like that.
All right, so for my friend, this is straight off the bat. My friend is obsessed with crypto. He's called Carl Dawkins. What is Kevin the Tech Ninja's preferred coin?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Bitcoin is like the default, and a lot of people are not a big fan of it because just the price of it right now is just so hard to get into. But you don't have to own a whole Bitcoin, is what I explain to people. You don't have to pay $47,000 to buy one. But I like Ethereum just because it has utility behind it.
Yeah,
and it's still low enough it's expensive, but it's still low enough where you can get in there and have a chunk, and makes it worth it to you. And it's like, I don't know the prices today, but US dollar, like $3,200 or $3,500, what it was today. And so if you get in at there and it actually gets as big as Bitcoin, you made a lot of money. So it's one of those things that I like Ethereum. I put money towards Ethereum every couple of weeks just to kind of stay in there and, make it exciting. I look at all that stuff to me as like a long-term investment. I'm not looking to get my money out anytime soon. So I don't stare at it. I just put money in and see what happens.
Great. Cool. Right. Got 3 more questions, and then we're going to wrap up because you've got stuff to do. You've got 11 minutes. So I'm trying to be as efficient as physically possible.
I appreciate you.
No worries. What do you think about the Huawei censorship thing with the OS app stores and basically Hawaii, I think it was in China, wasn't it? They kind of got cancelled in a way, and they had to sort of make their own app store.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the specifics, so my understanding is very surface level.
Yeah.
And I know it's like it gets into the political realm and things like the way kind of things I tend to avoid to talking about publicly, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But it's just one of those things that the US felt that Huawei phones were not secure and that it was transmitting information to the Chinese government.
Yeah.
And they felt it was the best interest to not allow those phones in the US. So they can't access the Play Store, which basically makes it hard for anyone to use in the US. Yeah. Now, there are ways around it where you can upload the Play Store on the side and still use the phone. But those are like the rare exception.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they were doing that, sending that information over. I don't personally know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that the US government felt it was a threat to national security and they shut it down.
Yeah.
That's
fair enough.
That's kind of all. That's all I know about it at that point.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, I just think the question, sort of in that question, is: do you think that will happen again? And do you think that? What am I trying to say? Do you think that is another example of innovation that Hawaii managed to sort of navigate their way through that, rather than just saying, "Well, we can't continue as a device"?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much we are valuing our security.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those things. Security is on a pendulum with convenience versus security, right? And I guess in the U.S., Russia and China is like our digital enemy. So if Russia and China are doing things like that, we're going to step up. Versus if it's a company in American soil, harvesting that same data is not as big of a deal. So I guess it depends on where it's coming from and who cares at the moment.
Got ya. Yeah. This is one from me. How do you switch off in a world full of technology?
I'm working on that every single day.
Yeah.
I struggle with it. And, I have a 3-year-old son, and, spending time with him is really cool. But even he is like getting addicted to technology, which is really, really hard for me to see. And I try to combat against that. But when he wakes up, the very first thing he's doing, he's like reaching for his iPad, like reaching for it, like crying for his iPad as soon as he wakes up. So it's one of those things that I let him watch it, put it on a timer. Then after that, take it away, and we do things. We color, we play. So that's my way to disconnect. And when I'm with him, I'm not on my phone. When I'm with him, as you know, I'm not great at replying back to email, as you know.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Don't put yourself down. You've been a lot better than some of my guests.
So I try to have blocks where I'm doing email. I try to have like office hours, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm doing email. And so for me, I just have to really put a handcuff on it, because this phone connects to my world. And that is a great thing. But at the same time, it's very hard for me to not feel that buzz in my pocket. So, I use the different modes on my phone. So, when I'm not working, I turn off emails. So I don't have emails coming in. And then when I'm ready to work, and then I make sure that if I'm working, that I'm not around my family, because then it's cutting into family time. So I make it a point, if I'm working, I'm going to be here in my basement to work. Just to have that separation. And it's something I struggle with every single day.
Yeah, I get you.
I do my best with it. So that's all I can do, is my best every day. So
there's a song you need to check out by a artist that I absolutely adore called Bo Burnham, and he's done a song called Welcome to the Internet. And I think you would appreciate that, because it's essentially, can I interest you in everything all of the time? And the internet doesn't really switch off. Like, there's obviously sectors of the world where there's an outage, but the internet, I don't know where it is. It's probably in 16 different locations across the world, but it's never really truly been turned off since it got turned on day 480 or whatever, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But crazy world, isn't it? We need to moderate we just need to get a bit more self-discipline, really, don't we? I think that's ultimately the silver bullet, really.
Yeah. The internet, I think, turned into something more than what was intended.
Yes.
And I think it's just grown at a massive rate and scale that you can't wrangle in. It's just this big beast, and you can't do anything about it, to be honest. So
I agree.
it's the internet is creating, I think it's creating more problems than it's solving at this point. It solves a lot of things, but I think there's more problems being created that we haven't seen before. So we don't have the solutions for these things,
I agree. Yeah. We'll get there though. Come on, people. Let's have a bit of an optimistic twist. Right. Last question. Kevin, what are your plans for the future?
I don't know. I mean, just for me, I want to continue to be able to evolve as everything, like as a content creator, making content, as we talked about TikTok a few moments ago.
Yeah.
Being able to just be wherever I need to be to continue to make video and continue to share this with my audience and find new people from my audience. I want to be, a great father to my son. I want to be a great husband to my wife. I just want to continue what I'm doing today, but just do it better. I make mistakes every day, so just try to make less mistakes every day and kind of move forward and just be a good person overall.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. Well, I watch your videos with great intent and I admire your work ethic because it's great that you have blocks now. I think that's absolutely essential as a YouTuber, and especially one that's in the digital space. But I've got your notification bell turned on, and everyone should go subscribe to Kevin and get him to 300K. But I do genuinely enjoy your reviews more than others. I won't name other people because I'm not here to start a rap battle. But yeah, I do genuinely appreciate your content and I find it incredibly easy to watch. So thank you for everything that you do. And what are you up to for the rest of the day?
Yeah, so my son actually just came home from school. That's kind of why we have a stop. So typically when he comes home from school, I greet him and we spend time together to talk about what happened in school and kind of spend that time. I'm sort of off the clock for a little bit when he comes home, and then start working again a little bit later, but typically right when he walks in, that's kind of when I spend my time with him and do all those things. It's trying to create memories, trying to create habits, and I don't want him to just look back and say, my dad used to always work, I don't want him to say that. So I try to create habits and make new memories and routines and things like that. So
cool. Do you have any questions for me, or are you happy to wrap that up?
No, I'm good, man. I really appreciate it. It was fun. I wouldn't mind hopping on again sometime in the future and
make it happen. Let's do it next year. Awesome. Right, I've just got to ask you one question. We'll stop recording and I'll ask the question and then I'll leave you to your day. Thank you very much. Cheers everyone for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing, and check out my sponsors. I'll do a separate sponsor thing in a minute because Kevin's a busy guy. Cheers everyone. Take care.
Absolute Bedlam.
Hello. Thanks for watching our episode of Absolute Bedlam podcast. This is sponsorship mode / corner, or whatever you want to call it. So obviously we've got the steadfast sponsor of the podcast, which is Grind Fitness and Sportswear Clothing. Bedlam 2022 will get you 25% off all their products on their website, which is www.grindlimiteduk.com. The other day I went for a 10k, was wearing my grind gear, felt a bit like I wanted to do a bit more, ended up doing a half marathon. So I did 22k and I was meant to do 10. Needless to say, at the end of it, my legs were killing me, but I think grind gear definitely plays a part in that. It doesn't cling to you, like I've mentioned, and it just sort of allows you to sort of flow and breeze a bit better. And yeah, you've got to try it for yourself really to understand what I'm saying. But yeah, check out Grind as always. If you need any questions answered or you need anything run past, then drop me a message on Instagram, which is Absolute Bedlam Podcast. And I will reply to you as soon as I can. Right, that's the grind section done. Archie Soul, as always, hooking me up with the beard wash from Duke Cannon. It's got a hint of oak barrel and Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I know that's backwards, I'm sorry. Got some more Duke Cannon here. Same again, Buffalo Trace. This is a bar of soap, as I've mentioned numerous times now in guest episodes. That's a big boy. Bedlam 2022 once again will get you 20% off everything on archiesoul.com. And for Christmas, I was very kindly given a £25 bottle of Anthony Sea Kelp Scrub, which is absolutely awesome, and I love it. So that's Archie Soul, www.archiesoul.com. And finally, we have Made Sure, as always. I love fragrances. If anyone knows me in real life, I love candles, I love scents, I love walking into a house and smelling like gingerbread or lemon and lime or strawberries. And I don't think that that's necessarily something that's appreciated by men. And I think it should be, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's always seen as very girly. However, I think that we should normalize it for men. So Made Sure, madesure.pigcartel.com. Bedlam 20, not Bedlam 2022, for 20% off your order. We've got wax melts to suit every emotion, every feeling. We've got Jamaican Me Crazy. This one, you can smell it through the wrapper. It is amazing. It's a really left field scent. It's quite a tropical, fruity smell. We've got lemon and lime. If the camera wants to focus, that would be fantastic. Lemon and lime. There we go. Smell that one as well. They're really powerful, but they're really like sort of punchy, and they are meant to be sort of chunked and sort of separated. You're not meant to put the whole thing in your burner. So yeah, there we go. Pink Flamingo as well is the last one I've got to hand. And we've got Avabath here. Avabath. So yeah, just mind-blowing. Everyone that I've ever sent any Made Sure stuff to has absolutely loved it. And I think that 2022 could be their year. Hopefully going to look at doing some events and some fairs when COVID finally jogs on. But yeah, I'm really, really proud of Hannah for making just these amazing snap bars, wax melts. We're looking potentially at getting burner kits, but that's a little bit way down the road. A lot of people say, you know, how do you use them? And it would be good to do like an all assembled thing. I think Hannah's looking at doing some spring scents soon. And then we'll look into doing it as a seasonal thing, you know, spring, summer, autumn, winter, Halloween, Christmas, that sort of stuff in the middle. But yeah, I absolutely love all my sponsors. I use all of the stuff myself, and I just try and be as genuine as possible with it, really. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I'm nearly at 30 subscribers, I think, and I'd like to get to 50 by the end of February if possible. I don't think that's an unachievable task. But yeah, thanks as always for listening, watching, and I hope that the guest that I've just had on has been interesting. So I will speak to you all very, very soon. Keep it Bedlam, and please support the show by supporting my sponsors. Cheers, guys.
Absolute Bedlam Podcast. Who? What? Where? Why?